Let's look quickly then at the Nuclear Institute. It is the only institution or institute in the UK that is solely for people involved in nuclear. It doesn't do other the major professional institutions like the IET, the IMechE, where I'm a fellow, all have nuclear parts, but the Nuclear Institute is the only one that is solely for nuclear. It actually involves all professionals. Although it started off as technical, we now have lawyers and accountants and others in there because their role in modern nuclear development is quite crucial. So it crosses all professionals. Key to our future is young generation. Over half of our members are in the young generation bracket, and they are really the future of the industry. We tend to operate through, as the CQI, through regional branches, and we do actually have some joint events. There's one about to happen in the northeast between the CQI and the Nuclear Institute. And basically all of those events run with the intention of raising the profile of nuclear, both within the industry, within the sector, and I use the sector to include academia as well, and also for the general public. Fundamental piece about the Nuclear Institute is that we actually believe nuclear is different. And as a result of that, we've identified something we call the nuclear delta. And we expect all of our members to have a clear understanding of that. All members, whether they're technical or not. We expect them to have a minimum understanding of things like nuclear physics, how reactors and nuclear systems work. We also expect them to demonstrate personal behavioural safety. And that's the issue that links very closely to quality, and I'll draw out that further later. In the terms of safety culture, we strongly link to the IAEA's document in SAC 15, which is, in my view, the best document for defining safety culture anywhere. And I'll actually read the words to you because they're actually important and they link very closely to quality. It says that it's that assembly of characteristics and attitudes in organisations and individuals which establishes that, as an overriding priority, nuclear plant safety issues receive the attention warranted by their significance. Think about that in terms of graded application of QA. It's warranted by their significance, and that's vitally important. What I want to do is now compare what I think is, again, very important, compliance directly. Now, I've used a driving analogy here, very simply because, and there are a number of compliance issues that have occurred in the nuclear industry, issues which are often called malicious compliance, where people have deliberately stuck to very good quality documents and it's driven them into a nuclear issue. I won't go into those, but just imagine you're driving down the road. Many of us see a 30-mile-an-hour sign, and I suspect some of us see that as a target. You can drive at that, that's what it tells you. And as a result, you go over it. I call that a compliance mentality. If we were taking a true quality approach, that would condition our attitudes and behaviours, and we would ensure that we're driving within the safety conditions, and that would automatically mean that we are below that limit. And that's the difference, in my view, between compliance and actually having a real, true approach to quality. How does that link then to what happens in the nuclear business? And I said before, quality doesn't start with Licence Condition 17. It actually starts with the attitudes and behaviours of the people involved. And it's not an option, Licence Condition 17. One has to comply with it. But it does require those attitudes, behaviours and the knowledge of the people to ensure that we do comply with it properly. From a Nuclear Institute perspective, training and networking, which is what the Nuclear Institute is all about, we see as one of the best ways to actually achieve that. And in fact, that's the ethos of the Nuclear Institute. Bring like-minded people together with the intent of raising their knowledge in the areas of nuclear and nuclear safety and nuclear quality. Let's now look at why why quality is so vital. It actually enables you to achieve the highest levels of nuclear safety. Now, I apologise here for using American data because it happens to be the largest population of nuclear power stations in any one country. They currently have 103, and they do actually publish the data very successfully. From the 1990s through to 2005, the number of significant events recorded by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission dramatically fell. And that was to do, a lot of that was to do with the appropriate application of quality processes and procedures in the USA. That's a real benefit from applying quality. Linked to that is the strive for excellence. You're never going to get pure excellence. It's always something you want to strive for. And it's the desire of quality, effectively, to become a learning organisation. Even here in the UK, capacity factors in power stations were down in the 60s and 70s in that stage. Today, Sizewell B's achieving high 90s. Again, it's the application of the correct processes and procedures, if you like, quality processes and procedures, that has driven that improvement. Let's look at it quite another way then. How does it deliver real business benefit? If you take those same numbers and look at them in a slightly different way, you find that by 1990, the power production, or the energy production from the power stations in the USA, about 577 kilowatt hours. Billion kilowatt hours, I apologise, I missed the billion. However, if you then look at that in 2003, you find that they're producing 763 billion kilowatt hours. That's the equivalent of another 23 1,000 megawatt nuclear power stations. That's a superb business benefit. The revenue that you gain from that in business sense is huge. And a lot of that was driven by having good quality information at the back of it. If the plants in the UK and around the world are performing well, then that's a major contributor to factual information that enables you to convince the general public that nuclear is worthwhile. And I think people have already said that nuclear is actually contributing, or has the major chance to contribute, to environmental benefit of any of the major types of generation we're looking at. I believe that quality is absolutely vital for nuclear safety, continuous improvement, and high business performance. I believe it's driven by the behaviours and attitudes and knowledge of the people, not simply by compliance. And that, to me, is crucial. And above all, good performance helps educate the general public about the benefits of nuclear energy. The Nuclear Institute members try and live with that and embrace that through everything they do. That's part of the ethos of the Nuclear Institute, which I think is why I come back to my original comment. When people come to the Nuclear Institute and say that quality is purely licence condition 17, we generally ask them to think again. Thank you very much for listening.